So a very good afternoon to you all. This video is for class 10th evolution. As we all know, we were going through the evolution chapter. Now, last class we have learned that how the prehistoric man, Homo erectus, then other prehistoric mans along with Homo erectus as well as Homo habilis, Australopithecus, how they have evolved and how they have evolved to form a look-like human being. Not exactly human being, a look-like human being. Now, today we will know and today we will learn, today we will try to understand about modern man evolution. Modern man evolution starts a lakh of years ago. We can say around 1 lakh or 2 lakh years ago, the modern man evolution starts. Already started that time. Before 2 lakh year ago, the modern man evolution has already started. Now, so first of all, we will learn that what is archaic modern man. Now, according to the scientists and the environmentalists as well as the paleontologists and all, what they did, when they found the fossils, they found some fossils have crossed a transition period. Transition period means that fossils were having enough proof to show that the Homo erectus and Homo sapiens were present. Means there is a transition, means there is a process of evolution took place between Homo erectus to Homo sapiens. Now, those fossils are known as archaic modern man. So scientists, when they found those fossils of archaic modern man, this fossils of archaic modern man has given a valid proof that yes, the evolution took place and the evolution did took place from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens. And we are Homo sapiens sapiens. We are the human being. From ape-like organism, we become Homo sapiens sapiens. With this note, we will start today's lesson about modern man evolution. Before going to it, let us summarize that in the prehistoric evolution what we have learned. We learned how the Homo habilis were different from Homo erectus, how the Homo erectus changes, how their cranial capacity increases, how their body weight, their height, their physical activities, their cranial capacity, the capacity of the brain, how it has increased, we have learned till now. And now we are going to learn how from Neanderthal man we become Homo sapiens sapiens. The modern man evolution went through 3 phases: Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon man, and Homo sapiens sapiens. Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon man, and Homo sapiens sapiens. So what happens when we learned about prehistoric evolution? We found the proofs that yes, with each and every new evolution, some kind of organisms, means those ape-like organisms, has updated themselves. From Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, in each and every evolution, they have updated themselves. Either their cranial capacity increased, as well as their physical activity increased. They became more intelligent. They discovered fire. They discovered tools for hunting. They covered themselves during different weather conditions, which shows a definite thing that yes, something is happening towards the mankind. Something is happening towards the processing of human being. So till prehistoric man, till Homo erectus, it was prehistoric. Now why it is called as modern man? Because Neanderthal man and Cro-Magnon man were very familiar. Their looks, their attitude, their behavior were very much familiar and very much close to today's human being. Means to us, it was very much close. So what we learned in Neanderthal man, they arose many lakhs of years ago, but yet they were having lot of similarity with us. They were having lot of similarity with us, and we are going to learn it today, that what are those. Now, first of all, Neanderthal man arose means they evolved from Homo erectus around 1,50,000 years ago. They arose 1,50,000 years ago. Then they extinct 25,000 years ago. Just before 25,000 years ago, they extincted. And they have given rise to Cro-Magnon man. But first we will learn that what were the characteristics of this Neanderthal man. They arose 1,50,000 years ago. They extinct 25,000 years ago. They were 150 centimeter in height. Means they were not too tall. They were short. They were short in height. but they were very much strong. Though they were short, but they were very much bulky, well built, very much well built and bulky. Means they were well built and bulky means not only their muscles, their bones were very much strong. Their bones as well as their muscles, they were very much strong. 1450 means 1450 was their cranial capacity. 1450 centimeter cube was their cranial capacity. So their cranial capacity was 1450 centimeter cube, which shows that they were having a good amount of brain in size present within their cranium. Cranium means the brain box. Outside the brain box means the skull. The skull is made up of 8 such bones, and there are sutures in between, those zigzag pattern, and that is known as the cranium. So inside the cranium they were having a well developed logical brain, but not as logical as the normal human beings, but their cranial capacity increased in size as compared to that of the Homo erectus. So 1450 centimeter cube is the cranial capacity they were possessing those days. Now what happens is, the cranial capacity defines how the organism is smarter. More the cranial capacity, more will be their logical brain inside. The more creative work they can do, more creative pattern they can do. Now what happens is, they were having thick boned skull. Their skull was very much thick. They were having a thick boned skull, and thick boned skull means the skull is made up of very thick bone, much more thicker than the Homo erectus. Much more thicker than the Homo erectus. Here we must put centimeter cube, because volume of the cranial capacity is given in meter cube or in centimeter cube, but meter is very long, as we all know. So only centimeter cube is there. So what happens when the organism is having a good cranial capacity? Means we can expect from the organism that organism will do creative work as well as smarter work. So thick boned skull, the bone in the skull was very much thick. Not only the skull bone, the bones in the hand and the feet were very much thick. They were short heighted, but they were very much well built. Now derived syllabic language, this part is very much important. They derived syllabic languages, means they were using symbols and characters to communicate with each other. Of course, for the Neanderthal man, it was said that Neanderthal man was neither domesticating the animals nor they were practicing agriculture. But this part, derived syllabic languages, means they have derived the language of characters and symbols, was so much important and a great step towards the formation of human beings. Why? Because once they started to communicate with each other, they can form a society, they can form a family. That is what it means. So if they are practicing a syllabic language, if they were those days practicing syllabic languages, means they were having a very close contact with each other, and they were residing in groups. And they can hunt the animal also. So this part, that they have a syllabic language, was very important in those days. Intelligent in making tools, as I have said, since they were communicating well with each other, with a good cranial capacity, they communicated well with each other. That's the reason why they were making tools in a very nice way. Not practiced agriculture and domestication. Though they have not practiced agriculture and domestication, but the way they communicated with each other has created a teamwork within themselves. And that creation of the teamwork was so important that within 2 or 3 groups they were divided and they can hunt the animals. That's the reason why there was no need for them to practice agriculture. But at the same time, they can hunt animals together because they were highly intelligent than prehistoric evoluted men's. Not men's exactly, Homo erectus, Homo habilis and all. Now, Cro-Magnon man. Next one is Cro-Magnon man. They were much evolved than the Neanderthal man. The Cro-Magnon man arose 50,000 years ago. They arose 150,000 years ago. The Cro-Magnon man arose 50,000 years ago. Means we can say, from evoluting, means as far as evolution has been concerned, a particular species or a particular living organism evoluting it takes time around 1 lakh years. You can see the difference, 1,50,000 and here 50,000, the difference is 1 lakh. So 1 lakh year it took for Neanderthal man to evolve to Cro-Magnon man. Now what happened? Cro-Magnon man arose 50,000 years ago, extincted 20,000 years ago, and after the extinction of the Cro-Magnon man, the Homo sapiens sapiens came. The cranial capacity was 1660 centimeter cube for the Cro-Magnon man, much more than the Neanderthal man. They were tall, 180 centimeter tall. Average height was 180 centimeter. Swift-footed means they were very much fast runner. They can run very fastly. So if they can run fast, they can save themselves from predators. They can hunt animals also. Now, art of painting. See, this is the most important one. Art of painting, because the fossils, the Cro-Magnon man as well as the Neanderthal man, they were residing in the caves. They were residing in the caves in the forests and all. But the most important part in the Cro-Magnon was that they were good at painting. Means when the fossils, when the cave of the Cro-Magnon man were discovered, it was found that they were making lot of characters on the wall. They were making lot of paintings on the wall. Those paintings were a mean of communication as well as a great step towards mankind. And how it has started? It has started with the Neanderthal man, because Neanderthal man, they started the syllabic languages using the symbols and the characters. And now what happens? The Cro-Magnon man using the painting, which shows these Cro-Magnon man were very much nicely evolved from Neanderthal man, as well as their cranial capacity were much bigger than the Neanderthal man. Now, intelligent art of painting, intelligent hunter. Of course, they were swift-footed, so they can hunt the animal very nicely, and they were very much intelligent hunter. Making ornaments, one more creative work. They started to make ornaments of stone, or else in those days, whatever the pearls or whatever the ornaments or whatever the jewelries they used to found in the nature, they used to collect them and they used to make the ornaments. It's a great step, making ornaments, art of painting. These two things has made the Cro-Magnon man a well-developed human being, because art of painting and making ornaments is not a matter of joke. We can say that yes, it is. We can also paint, we can also make ornaments, but in those days, it is really a surprising thing that a particular organism evolving from ape, since crores of years they are evolving, and one of the stage in one of the stage they are making ornaments, as well as they are intelligent, as well as they are good at painting. Means that surely this organism will evolve, and they will evolve to have a very good species. Now what happened? After the Cro-Magnon men extincted, they extincted 20,000 years ago. Means since 20,000 years, the Homo sapiens sapiens, we people, we are residing in this earth. We arose 11,000 years ago. We arose 11,000 years ago. Now the question here arises that already the Cro-Magnon man extincted 20,000 years ago, and we arose 11,000 years ago. In between this 9,000 years, what happened? In between this 9,000 years, this Cro-Magnon man evolved, and they have passed a transition stage. They have passed a transition stage between Cro-Magnon to Homo sapiens. They have passed a transition stage. This transition stage took 9,000 years. Took 9,000 years, and that's the reason why between Cro-Magnon and Homo sapiens sapiens, the transition stage was Homo sapiens only. This 9,000 year belongs to Homo sapiens. Belongs to Homo sapiens. I think you can understand my point, what I'm saying. They extincted 20,000 years ago. We arose 11,000 years ago. In between this 9,000 years, what happened? This 9,000 year, the transition phase was there. And in this transition phase, what happened? The Homo sapiens were found. Homo sapiens only. But why their name is not been taken? Because Homo sapiens and Homo sapiens sapiens, means those Homo sapiens and we Homo sapiens sapiens, we are having a very close link. There was no change. We cannot say even a 0.1% change is also not there between Homo sapiens and Homo sapiens sapiens. That's the reason why their name is not been mentioned. Many of the books are mentioning, many of the books are not mentioning it. So Homo sapiens and Homo sapiens sapiens, there is no change. There might be a very simple change in the size of their appendix, which is found. Very simple, very minute change, and that change is, of course, it's a negligible one. So I hope you can understand this. Now what happens? Homo sapiens sapiens arose 11,000 years ago, more than 180 centimeter tall, much more than 180 centimeter tall. Cranial capacity 1400 to 1700 centimeter cube, of course, quite bigger than the Cro-Magnon, and of course having a very creative brain. Erect posture, straight, very much straight. Less hair on body. Their body were having less hair. Fingers and toes with flat nails. Fingers as well as toes, we are having nails in our fingers and toes. Neck mobile, means neck will be rotating so that we can see our predators. And anything is attacking on us, we will be very much alert. Language for communication, yes. So what happened? Neanderthal man used the syllabic languages. More advanced languages used by the Cro-Magnon. Now what happens? Here language for communication is used. Means the language which was used for the communication of our Homo sapiens sapiens is very much distinct and perfect language. For example, we are communicating in English. There are several characters, several words to spell out in English. We are communicating in Hindi or Bengali or Tamil or Telugu, whatever the language is there. Whatever the language is there, we can communicate based upon the person standing in front of us. We can communicate. And if we don't know the person's concerned language, we can ask the person, do you know English? Or do you know the particular tongue, what I am comfortable to speak with you? So this nature came 20,000 years it took to come to the proper human beings. Of course it came to the Homo sapiens also, but now it became more advanced. Now the English has become a medium of communication in a worldwide level. In a world level it has become a medium of communication. We can communicate very nicely in English. So what happens? The language came properly, posture became erect, we became more civilized, we are wearing clothes now. We know nowadays we are not hunting the animals, we are going to shop, we are purchasing the things. We know how to cook, we can understand the feelings and the emotions. So our cranial capacity develops and we become a normal, proper human being. So this is what the evolution of the modern man took place from Neanderthal till Homo sapiens sapiens. Now, the most distinctive thing, Neanderthal man were not having chin. But Cro-Magnon man, since their body developed, the lower jaw became more solid than the Neanderthal man, so the chin arrived. But in Homo sapiens sapiens, what happened? The lower jaw became more deeper, and that's the reason why the chin hanged till here. So that is the reason why previously the Neanderthal man were not having prominent eyebrow ridges also. But since the forehead of the Cro-Magnon become very much straightforward and sloping, receding forehead we are having now receding forehead. Neanderthal were having sloping forehead, Cro-Magnon have receding forehead. Now what happened? What happened here is, since the Cro-Magnon is having a receding forehead, prominent eyebrow ridges, proper lower jaw, so proper chin, and now these things become more distinctive in Homo sapiens sapiens. We are also having a receding forehead, proper chin, as well as a prominent eyebrow ridges. I hope you can understand this video. Please go through it, and if any doubt, you can ask.